Tonight on CTV News at 6, skating for world hockey supremacy in Edmonton. Our city awarded a big piece of the World Cup of Hockey.
Just imagine what it will feel like to watch Team Canada take back its rightful place as champions.
Shot to death in a vehicle on the QE2.
But you don't expect to be seeing this in the middle of the day on the QE2s.
And Pandas win a national championship for the U of A.
CTV Edmonton, local breaking news with Jeff Hastings.
Good evening. Best on Best Hockey is bound for Edmonton. Our city will host a large part of the 2028 World Cup of Hockey, a championship that could rival the size and importance of the recent Olympic hockey tournament. Matt Woodman is here now with more detail. Matt, the league settled on 3 host cities, Edmonton, Calgary, and Prague.
That's right, Jeff. And Edmonton doesn't get as many games as the other 2 cities, although the semis and the final will be held at Rogers Place, so the bigger games will take place here. And with Alberta hosting in 2 major cities, the provincial government says it's already a win for tourism.
The 2028 World Cup of Hockey will take place in Edmonton, Alberta.
The NHL announced the news on social media with NHL stars Connor McDavid, Cale Makar, and David Pasternak. They named Edmonton, Calgary, and Prague as the 3 host cities for the tournament of NHL stars, which will take place in February of 2028. It's anticipated to be another battle for hockey supremacy after the success of the 4 Nations tournament and the drama of the Olympic final between Canada and the United States.
Just imagine what it will feel like to watch Team Canada take back its rightful place as champions of international men's hockey right here in front of Albertans in our own backyard. It will be pandemonium.
Considering this is an international level sporting event, we do anticipate certainly a strong number of travelers coming into Alberta, into the region, and staying longer past the one game they might be seeing.
The province says it's expected to create a $375 million boost for Alberta businesses. Explore Edmonton believes that's actually a conservative estimate. Now, the first World Cup of Hockey was held in 1996. The tournament in 2028 will be the league's 4th. The NHL plans on making it an event every 4 years, falling in between Winter Olympic cycles. Ticket information, though, has not been released just yet. Jeff?
All right, Matt, thank you. Matt Woodman live for us tonight. All right, let's bring Josh in now a little bit early with some information that could be very important for travelers.
Yeah, especially if you have plans to be on roads north of the Edmonton area later on tonight and into tomorrow morning. In the city, we are technically under a freezing rain warning, although I really think this is more just going to be rain as opposed to freezing rain. All the areas in blue, though, are under that freezing rain warning. South of Highway 16, the risk is really low. Further north, Slave Lake, Athabasca, down through Lac La Biche and towards Vermilion, Lloydminster, really high risk of some freezing rain. You can see we've got snow up around Fort McMurray into the south. In the pink zone there around Whitecourt and now stretching just north of Edmonton, that's a little bit of mixed precipitation. Had a bit of that in parts of the city earlier in the day today. That purple zone around Athabasca back up towards Slave Lake, that's your freezing rain. And then in the green, that's just rain where temperatures are above 0 at the surface. And so that rain is not freezing on contact. And that's going to be the case here in the city, which is why, despite the fact that we're under the freezing rain warning, you will not see any significant ice buildup in the city, certainly not on roadways. North of the city, though, Slave Lake, all the way through that Lac La Biche, Vermilion, Lloydminster area, in that blue zone, you could see several millimeters of ice buildup overnight tonight and early tomorrow morning. So if you could stay off roads later tonight and early tomorrow morning in that area, that's probably your safest bet. Showers in Edmonton tonight as temperatures start to climb. We're at +1 right now. We'll get to 4 degrees by midnight and then 12 under partly cloudy skies tomorrow afternoon.
All right, Josh, thank you. Police Chief Warren Dreichel is being criticized and praised for his decision to go to Israel last month. It was an educational trip that was organized and paid for by the Major Cities Chiefs Association. The Muslim and Jewish communities in Edmonton have expressed opposite reactions to the chief's trip. Now, more members of City Council are weighing in. Jeremy Thompson reports.
No justice, no peace, defund the police! A weekend protest outside of police headquarters. People here upset with Chief Warren Dreichel's decision to travel to Israel last month, part of a delegation from the Major Cities Chiefs Association.
This is the government that our police chief is using as an education source. This is unacceptable.
Chief Dreichel has not been made available for an interview with CTV since news of his trip broke last week. The service tells CTV it was an opportunity to gain insights into local policing in a highly complex environment. That's why Police Commission Chair Ben Henderson approved the trip.
I trusted him to take out of it what was of use to us and to have good judgment about the stuff that might not be. But, there's no point in going to places that are telling us what we already know.
Local reaction has been strong, both the criticism and the praise. A letter to the Police Commission signed by more than 24 local Muslim organizations describes Edmonton families grieving the ongoing violence in Gaza. They want Dreichel to step down, saying the chief's trip has caused profound disappointment and hurt, calling the decision to go a serious failure of judgment, one that has undermined trust with the Muslim community. Meanwhile, the Jewish Federation of Edmonton sent a letter to the Commission and City Council in support of the chief, calling the criticism divisive. Framing professional engagement in this way risks normalizing anti-Israel sentiment and, more broadly, contributes to an environment where anti-Semitism is normalized.
I believe that this was an educational opportunity, and I know that does affect aspects of the community, and I know that's hurtful, and I completely understand that. But I also realize that visiting different countries, different cities provides opportunities for dialogue.
City councillors are now weighing in as well. Mike Elliott supports the chief, while Mayor Knack condemns the trip to Israel.
In that particular country, there is a Canadian government warning to avoid travel, all travel. And so we have to be aware of contexts like that.
Knack wants the Police Commission to review its travel policy. Jeremy Thompson, CTV News, Edmonton.
The mayor of Quebec City and a delegation are in Edmonton to see how the LRT system works. Mayor Andrew Knack welcomed Quebec City Mayor Bruno Marchand along with several councillors. The visit will also include exchanging ideas on waste management, affordability and homelessness. Quebec City's mayor says there's a lot for his city to learn.
We're not as good as you are in order to plan for the future. We're not as good as you are for, I would say, transportation. When we looked at what you're doing and what you have done already in the last decades and the last years, we're kind of jealous. We're kind of jealous. No, seriously, because we are thinking our projects, I would say, one step at a time, instead of looking at them for the next 10 years, 15 years, or 20 years to come.
Mayor Knack acknowledged LRT construction hasn't been perfect, but he says Edmonton has been able to learn lessons from mistakes made in construction. He says there's plenty Edmonton can learn from Quebec City as well. A 22-year-old man from Edmonton is dead after being shot while driving on the QE2 just south of Leduc over the weekend. Now police are hoping witnesses or anyone with dashcam video can help them identify the shooter. Amanda Anderson reports.
It was on this stretch of the QE2 highway near Township Road 490 Saturday afternoon, where police say there was some sort of altercation between a pickup truck and a car. They say the car was shot at, killing its driver, a 22-year-old man from Edmonton.
What we know about the suspect vehicle at this point, we do believe that prior to this incident, it had been driving aggressively on the QE2.
Alberta RCMP Major Crimes has taken over the investigation.
We don't see a direct connection at this point suggesting to us this was a targeted shooting at this time.
However, they haven't ruled out road rage as a factor.
It's pretty early on. We're still trying to determine that aspect.
Police say the suspect vehicle is a pickup truck, was dirty at the time, and is white or gray in color. It was last seen traveling south on the highway.
It's certainly a shocking one that we really want to, find out who did this, get it, result in a successful conclusion that we can hold somebody accountable. There's always risks out in the public, right? But you don't expect to be seeing this in the middle of the day on the QE2. So it's one that we're taking very seriously.
Police are asking for the public's help to find the shooter. They're hoping to speak with anyone driving through that area around 2:50 p.m. who may have seen something.
We think there's a lot of people out on the highway at that time, a lot of people with dash camera potentially of the suspect vehicle. We're asking anybody that would have been out on the QE2 at that time to have a look at that dash cam. Again, you're looking for this pickup truck, very dirty, with this large decal on the back window of it.
Tips can also be provided anonymously through Crime Stoppers. Amanda Anderson, CTV News, near Leduc.
A 27-year-old woman is dead after a head-on collision on Anthony Henday Drive early Saturday morning. At about 2:30 west of Terwilliger Drive, police say a woman driving a small SUV collided with a 37-year-old man driving a sedan. The woman died. The man was transported to hospital with serious injuries. He is expected to survive. Police are asking anyone with information to contact them. Province and rural municipalities have created a plan to address decades of unpaid oil and gas taxes. It focuses on the path forward. As CTV's Miriam Valdez-Carletti reports, one municipality says it doesn't help with the millions it's already owed.
About 5 hours west of Edmonton, Smoky River is one of the many municipalities that could never see owed oil and gas property taxes.
I mean, those monies contribute so much to our region and our economy. Without them, that is a real concern.
Smoky River's Reeves says before penalties, it's owed more than $5 million.
It has affected us quite significantly. If we don't recover that money, it does put us in a position where we have to consider whether or not we can actually continue to provide services to our region.
Last spring, rural municipalities of Alberta and the province created the Property Tax Accountability Strategy Working Group. On Monday, it released 17 recommendations in a new report.
When companies don't pay their taxes, there need to be real consequences.
This is a massive issue that literally affects almost every single one of our municipalities.
The top recommendations are making property tax payment a condition to hold an Alberta energy regulator license and give AER explicit authority to initiate compliance action based solely on a company's tax arrears.
Up to this point in time, it was a consideration, unpaid municipal taxes, in taking enforcement action, but it wasn't a sole element of that.
The report also calls for better data access between all parties. The province says 96% of oil and gas companies do pay their taxes. However, those that don't owe at least $253.9 million, says the RMA.
We'd like to see a lot of that repaid, but companies that don't exist, companies that are already in the wind-up process, companies that have already had bankruptcy processes begin and that have obligations to reclaim that land environmentally, we appreciate that a lot of that isn't going to come forward.
It's really unfortunate that continues to be the message that we're receiving. We feel a little kind of left behind.
The report doesn't offer a specific timeline, but the working group expects all parties to work together to implement the recommendations in the coming months. Miriam Valdez-Carletti, CTV News, Edmonton.
Public healthcare advocacy groups rallied nationwide against a two-tiered system pointing to Alberta's Bill 11 passed last year. They're calling on the federal government to enforce the Canada Health Act and make the new law illegal. CTV's Tyson Fedor reports.
Repeal Bill 11! Repeal Bill 11!
A few dozen Calgarians rallying in one voice against a two-tiered healthcare system in Alberta.
I'm really concerned to see this proposal to put forward more for-profit care when healthcare is something that's central to being Canadian.
The Health Statutes Amendment Act, better known as Bill 11, will allow doctors to work in both public and private settings.
I believe that it's just been intentionally mishandling our money in healthcare to justify bringing in privatized healthcare.
Protests were held outside Liberal MP offices in Ontario, Edmonton, Montreal, Winnipeg and Vancouver, all in response to Alberta's legislation. Calgary's Corey Hogan says the concerns are real.
I have not discussed specifically this specific bill with the Prime Minister, but I do know the Prime Minister is a strong supporter of a strong, universally accessible public health care system.
But the province says there will be rigorous guidelines for physicians to meet before they can practice privately.
We are going to mandate that those who want to do dual practice have to continue providing the exact same service to the public system that they are today.
The United Nurses of Alberta says fixing the system is easy. capacity, with added capacity and hiring more healthcare staff.
This is nothing new. It's happened in more places than just Alberta. And what we see happen with that is, in the end, healthcare gets more expensive for everyone.
While nobody has brought a constitutional challenge yet, protesters say Ottawa should head to court over it. Meanwhile, they will continue advocating for fully funded public health care.
It's going to allow for employers to actually provide insurance for these healthcare services that used to be publicly delivered.
Beginning today, you can expect more delays downtown, with parts of 102nd Avenue closed for LRT work. 102 Ave between 107th and 102nd Streets will be closed off to traffic. The work is expected to last until the end of the year. Drivers heading north or south across 102nd Ave will detour to 105th Street. The city says construction will happen in multiple phases. Phase 1 of the project is expected to last until August. The city says construction for the LRT is on target to be completed in 2028. A heads up for drivers: starting tomorrow, a section of Meadowlark Road will be closed for Valley Line West LRT construction. Across Meadowlark Road and 89th Avenue will be closed. Vehicle access will be maintained at 156th Street and 88A Avenue for drivers. Pedestrians will still be able to walk through, with some detours in place. Crews are expected to wrap up construction within 10 weeks. Tabor has been named a provincial winner in the Kraft Hockeyville competition, which will help with arena repairs. In December, there was a Zamboni explosion at Tabor's ice rinks. It will cost nearly $20 million to rebuild the arena, and the town is hoping for some federal funding. Also helping with costs is the Hockeyville contest. On Saturday, Tabor was announced as the provincial winner, which comes with $50,000. The final start this coming weekend, and the winner of that will receive $250,000. The Edmonton Oilers are waiting to find out how long Leon Draisaitl will be out of the lineup.
He had his doctor's appointment this morning while we were on the ice. I haven't heard anything since. I think there'll be some time without him. I'm not sure if it's 1, 2, or how long it's going to be, but like I said, I don't have much information right now.
Draisaitl took a hit into the boards 5 minutes into last night's game against the Nashville Predators. Draisaitl tried to skate it off but did not return to the game. In response, Vasily Podkolzin fought Nick Hague moments later. Oilers captain Connor McDavid says while it wasn't a dirty play, he liked the way his team responded to the hit.
If you want to hit our top guys, there's going to be a response. We didn't love the fact that he finished the hit so hard on Leo, and obviously Leo didn't feel very good after. So you got to handle that.
The Oilers defeated the Predators 3-1. They host the San Jose Sharks tomorrow night at Rogers Place. The U of A women's volleyball team is celebrating its first national championship in 19 years. On Sunday, the Pandas won their 8th U Sports national championship and their first since 2007. They defeated Sherbrooke in 3 sets. Pandas head coach Carolyn O'Dwyer and her team won gold after winning silver and bronze medals their previous 2 seasons. She says her team learned from those experiences.
Most of them, lost in the championship final, and then obviously lost in the semifinals last year. So I think there's a lot they were able to take away from that, kind of how to perform under pressure and kind of be their best when it matters. And so I think we saw a really mature group this weekend that kind of knew how to win in those big moments.
Third-year student Abby Guzin was named championship MVP. Still to come, high-end cars go up in flames.
They got millions and millions of dollars worth of vehicles in there, and like whole high-end, like electric vehicles, high-end Lamborghinis, Ferraris, and you name it, everything.
The extent of the damage at an early morning dealership fire.
Coming up Tuesday on Your Morning, our home economist is here helping save serious cash, making butter chicken at home over takeout, plus a closer look at whether Canada should ban social media for young people.
Your Morning Edmonton, weekdays.
The CTV drone powered by Century Casino. 3 great locations: Edmonton, St. Albert, and Century Mile. Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
An early morning fire in Calgary has caused millions of dollars in damage. As CTV's Kevin Green reports, it has rocked Calgary's high-end car community.
Explosions and flames as a car dealership on 1A Street Southwest caught fire around 5 o'clock Monday morning. When fire crews arrived on scene, they found a blaze that was at first difficult to manage.
Well, we called a second alarm fire, so we had 13 apparatus that were on scene, so roughly about 40 firefighters were here.
The business burning is Kulu Motor Cars. It specializes in high-performance autos.
They got millions and millions of dollars worth of vehicles in there, and like whole high-end, like electric vehicles, high-end Lamborghinis, Ferraris, and you name it, everything.
Haraj Baraj manages the body shop across the street. He says the fire is a blow to the entire high-end car community.
We do business with each other. So when I need something, I go to them. When they need something, they come to me. So we depend upon each other.
On its website, Kulu Motors lists several high-performance cars like Porsches and Lamborghinis as being in stock. As the fire was knocked back, it became clear there was little left of anything in the showroom. One of the cars, an $800,000 Lamborghini hybrid vehicle, had a lithium battery, adding to the difficult nature of the fire.
Just because of all the vehicles that were inside and the deep-seated fire and the instability of the building, that's what's kind of taken the time to get things under control.
Fire crews kept spraying hotspots well into the afternoon, pumping an estimated 7 million liters of water on the site to keep it from reigniting. The city says this highlights the current need for water conservation.
These are the kinds of situations that make it so important that we have a sufficient supply of treated water in our underground storage tanks. Because of the actions that you took last week to save water, we had enough available in our underground storage tanks.
Firewalls spared neighboring businesses from being completely wiped out, but smoke and water damage is extensive.
Yeah, it is a big hole for right now, but knowing these guys, they'll find a way to recover, and we'll get around this. We'll get through this.
The evolution of artificial intelligence has created many questions for many industries. Artists want to know how they'll be compensated when their work is used by the emerging technology. An AI summit in Banff is looking for those answers. CTV's Tyler Barrow has more.
Where art meets artificial intelligence. This acrobat is having her movements followed by an infrared camera, creating a silhouette.
I think it's better to learn how to use these tools and experiment with it.
But as his theatrical company found use for AI, others in Banff for the National Artificial Intelligence Summit found reason for concern. Representatives from the music industry want proper compensation when their work is used on AI platforms, similar deals musicians and producers have with YouTube and Spotify.
We embrace innovation. It's really important, but we also need to make sure that songwriters are paid.
Many remain apprehensive when it comes to AI. The Indigenous Curatorial Collective organization recently took down work from a cloud system so AI sites couldn't capitalize on it.
We need to have our own data sovereignty and be able to put it in a secure space.
Copyright issues along with compensation are a few of the topics stakeholders are looking to address. The summit hosted by the Ministers of Canadian Identity and Culture and AI and Digital Innovation.
There's anxiety and opportunity.
Approximately 300 individuals from the tech sector, academia, arts, and other areas of culture are here to help ensure Canada shapes global conversation around responsible AI.
Listening to the culture community as we come up and design our legislation on privacy and trust, and as we design our AI strategy to build the economy of the future.
The summit comes a day after Canadian Will Arnett gave an impassioned speech regarding humans' roles in animation at the 98th Academy Awards.
We're celebrating people, not AI, because animation, it's more than a prompt, it's an art form and it needs to be protected.
Currently, Canada's AI sector employs 150,000 people, while another 800,000 work in digital industries. Those are the fastest growing areas in the country. Tyler Barrow, CTV News, Banff.
Still ahead, searching for the next Olympic great.
It's just bringing more and more good athletes, high quality, high performance to Edmonton.
Hundreds of Edmonton athletes test their running and jumping, hoping to one day become Olympians.
Some showers on the way for this evening, and then a big warm-up tomorrow as temperatures hit double digits for daytime highs tomorrow and again Wednesday. Full look at your last week of winter right after the break.
Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
Edmonton will be represented at the Western Canadian Ringette Championships for the first time in 38 years.
It's a one-in-a-lifetime experience that I could have never imagined. And to get to do it with this team, it just means so much to me. We have worked so hard to be here, and to get to continue such an amazing season while representing Alberta, it's amazing.
We have this amazing ability to even when we're down by goals, down in the game, we stay positive and we don't give up.
Edmonton Impact won the provincial championship last weekend in Airdrie. Now they'll be representing Alberta. The team says it's an accomplishment itself to win provincials. The rest is a bonus. The Western Canada Ringette Championships begin Wednesday in Saskatoon. Hundreds of young athletes were put to the test for a shot at Olympic-sized funding over the weekend.
I honestly have grown up doing the same sport my whole life, and I wanted an opportunity to try something new and different.
As young people of ourselves, I think this is something that everyone should give a try, and then you never know where it's going to take you.
The city's newly renovated Coronation Park Recreation Centre hosted the RBC Training Ground competitions. The qualifiers look for the top 100 Canadian athletes between the ages of 14 and 25. Each athlete has to prove themselves in contests of speed, strength, power, and endurance. The program identifies 35 athletes each year as future Olympians. Edmonton's own Olympic athlete, Kelsey Mitchell, says the event was a full circle moment since she was also discovered through the program.
We didn't have this program, I feel like so many athletes would have never found the sport that they're in now or find the potential sport that they could be good in. I feel like in Canada we kind of fall into playing soccer or only hockey, where now this opens up the opportunity to so many new sports. I never knew much about track cycling, and now it became basically my whole life, and so now there's a facility here. It's just bringing more and more good athletes, high quality, high performance to Edmonton.
The 35 athletes picked will get funding and dedicated support in their pursuit to represent Team Canada. This year's national final is set to take place this fall. I liked what you said, the last week of winter.
Yeah, spring
equinox
on Friday, although it's going to start to cool down for Friday and the weekend. We'll show you that with 10-day forecast in a second. Here's what it looks like outside right now at the River Valley Sky Camp. It's brought to you by Action Furnace. Fixed rider, it's free. Cloudy skies right now. Some spotty precipitation in parts of the area. Currently sitting at 2 degrees. We'll get to 4 before the evening is done, and then temperatures after midnight slip a little bit. We stay above 0, though, right through the overnight period. In fact, temperatures may not dip back below 0 until Saturday morning, which is good news with the rain that will come through in a couple different waves over the course of the next couple of days. -5 Fort McMurray, it's 2 in Grand Prairie, 1 in Red Deer, and here's where we run into some problems with freezing rain. Temperatures still 2 to 4 degrees below 0. So as this mixed precipitation is coming down, a little bit of freezing rain already in the Smoky Lake area. Here in Edmonton, yeah, it's just rain. There's a bit of a gap, and then you can see off to the west, there's some more rain, some heavier pockets as well in the yellows there. Looks like Red Deer's going to see some showers fairly shortly, if not already into the area. Grand Prairie, warm enough that it's just rain. That's actually a pretty heavy pocket of rain there just west of Grand Prairie. That could pose some problems with frozen ground. You're going to have some significant runoff with some of these heavier pockets of rain. There may even be a little bit of localized flooding or some pooling in through those areas. Slave Lake, as we said, off to the southeast. Freezing rain likely overnight tonight. So, yes, this warning does include Edmonton and areas to the south. It's unlikely we're going to have freezing rain in those areas. It's here, north of Highway 16, that you have the greatest risk of some ice accumulation, especially from around Slave Lake, southeast through, I think, just east of Vegreville, all the way along Highway 16. That could be awfully dodgy and icy tomorrow morning. And then in northeastern Alberta, yeah, if you could stay off roads overnight tonight and tomorrow morning, that's probably your safest bet. North of Cold Lake, it's coming down as snow in through the Fort McMurray region, and that'll continue through the rest of this evening. So as we said, there's a couple waves of precipitation. First one goes through tonight. I think by mid to late this evening, that rain's already east of the Edmonton area. Mixed sun and cloud to partly cloudy skies for tomorrow. Another area of rain develops north of Edmonton tomorrow evening. Again, you're going to run the chance of seeing some patchy freezing rain for a couple of areas north of the Edmonton region. That slumps south a little bit, so Wednesday morning, our next chance of showers here in the city, then some clearing in the afternoon, and then Thursday and Friday also have a chance of some precipitation. Nothing really all that heavy, but almost every single day this week, there's at least a chance of some showers. Showers certainly expected later on this evening. Temperatures climbing to 4 by midnight. We'll drop to 2 degrees tomorrow morning and then 12 and partly cloudy tomorrow afternoon. 10 on Wednesday. 8 chance of showers Thursday. Chance of a rain-snow mix for your spring equinox on Friday. We drop back to about 5 degrees Friday and somewhere in the 3 to 6 degree range through the weekend and into early next week.
Thank you, Josh. Still ahead, a look at the state of the Middle East as war shows no sign of slowing. Several countries under attack and a vital shipping lane too dangerous to use.
Canada's not involved in the prosecution of this war, and Canada has no intention of being involved in the prosecution of this war.
Canada's leaders resisting any idea of becoming involved in the conflict.
Programming brought to you by Century Casino. 3 great locations: Edmonton, St. Albert, and Century Mile.
The war in the Middle East is now in its 3rd week, and there are no signs it will stop. Iran's retaliation against Israel and America continues to include neighboring countries as the conflict is felt around the globe. CTV's Heather Wright reports.
Smoke billows from an industrial site near the Dubai International Airport, the result of a drone attack earlier today. It's the latest example of Iran's use of asymmetrical warfare, which includes inexpensive drone attacks like this one and leveraging pinch points like the Strait of Hormuz. The U.S. is asking its allies to help open the Strait of Hormuz, Iran's foreign minister said today. From our perspective, it's only closed to our enemies and their allies. With oil prices skyrocketing, U.S. President Donald Trump is under pressure to get tanker ships moving. He has called on NATO allies and countries like China to provide military support in order to reopen the strait. It's not our war, we didn't start it, is how Germany's foreign minister responded to the request, the most pointed refusal. Japan, Italy, Australia, and Canada have also said they will not participate.
Canada's not involved in the prosecution of this war, and Canada has no intention of being involved in the prosecution of this war.
I find the request kind of misplaced.
University of Istanbul professor Kıvanç Ulusoy says he's not surprised many countries are turning down requests to help, as the United States never consulted them in the decision to go to war.
The Trump administration did not do almost anything to let's say, to legitimize it, to justify it.
This war is now in its 3rd week, with the death toll in Iran now more than 1,300, according to its health ministry. The death toll in Lebanon also continues to rise as Israel moves more troops into the south in its fight with Hezbollah, which reignited following the killing of Iran's supreme leader. Nearly 900 people have been killed and 2,000 injured in Lebanon since this latest conflict began, with nearly 1 million people displaced. At this point, there are no peace talks planned between Hezbollah and Israel, and an Iranian official said today they have not requested a ceasefire with the United States and are prepared for what could be a lengthy conflict. Heather Wright, CTV News, Istanbul.
Donald Trump isn't just calling for international help in the Strait of Hormuz, he's calling out NATO nations and putting pressure on them to get involved in the war. CTV's Joy Melvin reports.
3 weeks into the Iran war that President Donald Trump chose to launch, the president demanding NATO nations come to his aid while mocking some of them.
They weren't that enthusiastic. Well, we want to know, do you have any minesweepers? Well, would rather not get involved, sir. I said, for 40 years we're protecting you and you don't want to get involved in something that is very minor.
Not a small ask. The Strait of Hormuz is under attack by Iran. Tankers on fire, choking off 20% of the world's oil supply and sending gas prices soaring. The president wants warships to help escort tankers to keep the oil flowing.
We get less than 1% of our oil from the Strait, and some countries get much more. Japan gets 95%. China gets 90%. Many of the Europeans get quite a bit. They should be jumping to help us because we've helped them for years.
Trump is frustrated, even disappointed at NATO allies ripping into the UK and France, saying he's in talks with 7 countries, and it would be very bad for the future of NATO if they don't step up.
Among other mistakes Trump made before undertaking this operation was not consulting adequately with our allies. He also didn't prepare the American people and didn't prepare the Congress. And I say all this as an advocate of regime change in Iran.
The president claims the Iranian regime has been, quote, obliterated, and doesn't know if Iran's new supreme leader is alive or dead.
They're saying that he lost his leg, the one leg, and he's been hurt very badly. Other people are saying he's dead.
The president has said the war could be over very soon, but he's also warned the U.S. is not ready to end it until Iran abandons its nuclear ambitions completely. Joy Malvin, CTV News, Washington.
Coming up, an ice hockey catastrophe.
Went to baggage shed to collect their gear, and unfortunately their gear bags weren't here. Gear bags were left in Newfoundland.
How a community rallied to support dozens of young players, and
there's no way around it. The next numbers will be higher.
Why economists expect Canada's inflation rate to skyrocket after this month's dip. Taking a look at the markets, the Canadian dollar closed near 73 cents U.S. Oil was down $5.21, closing at $93.50 a barrel. Gold lost nearly $60 on the day. The TSX was up 335 points. The Dow Jones down 388. Canada's inflation rate cooled more than expected this month, but economists expect this month's report is likely the dip before the spike. CTV's Annie Bergeron-Oliver explains.
The items on Hanan Alame's charcuterie platters are carefully curated.
This is like my passion.
But creating the beautiful food displays is getting more expensive by the month.
It's been extremely hard. Even like I opened up a year ago, from a year till now, things have skyrocketed. It's been double in price. So even like the meats, the cheeses, the fruits, even gas, because I do deliver as well.
Alame loves what she does, but she has some concerns about the future, a common feeling among small business owners.
Businesses haven't even recovered from the pandemic. Then we move into a trade war. Now we're moving into rising oil prices. The knocks continue. And for some businesses, this is a big threat.
Since the war began in late February, the price of oil has increased 40 to 50%. And economists say that could boost the cost of many goods and services, including food.
If you look at fresh fruits and vegetables that are coming in by truck from the southern U.S. or from Central America, that transportation cost is roughly 10% of the retail price. And so we will see some upward pressure for those products in the month of March.
If the war continues through the spring, economists fear inflation could increase too, making the Bank of Canada's next interest rate decisions more complicated.
There's no way around it. The next numbers will be higher. The question is how the Bank of Canada will then try to signal what it's likely to do. Most likely, right now it'll stay at the level it is, but it'll kind of say, look, we're really watching this. We don't want to get out of control.
The Bank of Canada will make its next rate decision on Wednesday, and many economists expect the bank will hold steady at 2.25%. Annie Bergeron-Oliver, CTV News, Ottawa.
3 hockey teams from Newfoundland set to play in Cole Harbour, Nova Scotia, suddenly found themselves without equipment. That's when the community stepped in. CTV's Paul Hollingsworth has more.
This arena is known for producing hockey superstars. But it's also home to a massive tournament, 160 hockey teams playing hundreds of games over March break. 3 of those teams from Newfoundland and Labrador landed at the airport over the weekend, ready to play. But there was a huge problem.
Went to baggage shed to collect their gear, and unfortunately their gear bags weren't here. Gear bags were left in Newfoundland.
It was a devastating setback. The U11 team from St. John's was prepared to return home right away.
We thought that this trip was going to be
one where the kids would be sad and upset we wouldn't be able to play.
Tournament organizers and community members rallied to find a solution.
What do you do when you're a hockey community? You step up and make sure the kids can get on the ice.
They put a call out for gear donations, and the response was overwhelming. Within hours, this room was packed with everything the players needed.
We probably had gear to outfit 20 to 25 kids. Teams started coming in from Newfoundland around 7:30. And they were able to grab everything they needed in order to outfit their kids.
The 3 teams were able to play on the ice, but off ice, they were overwhelmed by the support.
A lot of people reached out to offer support, local businesses, individuals that we don't know, and just wanted to help in any way to create a special moment for these kids.
Tournament Chair Jeff McPhee says Cole Harbour is a place where neighbors watch out for each other, and people will do anything to support children playing the game they love.
The hockey community coming together and taking care of everybody, just like we always do.
The U11 team from St. John's captured the championship in their division. The head coach calls it a gold medal finish and a heartwarming hockey experience. Paul Hollingsworth, CTV News, Cole Harbour, Nova Scotia.
Still ahead, several Canadians walk away with hardware at the biggest night in film.
Thank you, the fantastic city of Montreal. Thank you, Canada. Canada!
A look at local Oscars winners next.
We've got another great night of entertainment coming up right here on CTV.
An eco-friendly cafe and hub hosted its first upcycling market. Earth's Refillery Co-op and Cafe calls themselves a hidden gem in the city. The market was a chance to encourage people to visit their store while shopping for upcycled items. Vendors sold reworked items from clothing to jewelry made from spoons. The eco-friendly store says upcycling can be a creative outlet while also reducing waste. Big night for Canada at the Oscars as Canadian filmmakers delivered several of the golden statuettes. CTV's Jean-Vier Beauchemin reports.
The Girl Who Cried Pearls.
Montreal's Chris Lavis and Maciek Szczerbowski's stop-motion masterpiece.
They glowed, perfect and round.
Tells the story of an impoverished boy who falls in love with a girl whose tears turn to pearls.
Pearls of sorrow. They're priceless.
It's a tale of choice between love and greed told through puppets, set in 20th century Montreal.
We just really want to thank our amazing neighborhood and the amazingly talented community of artists that we've had the superb luck to work with. Thank you, the fantastic city of Montreal. Thank you, Canada. Canada!
That shout out to the Plateau neighborhood. Known for its iconic spiral staircases, a culture hub of theater, fashion, and cuisine, and a hotspot for artists. The newly minted Oscar winners say so many who played a role in their short film live in the area.
The hat has to be tipped to really a neighborhood where the music was made, where all the garbage was found, where our studio is, where we go out for drinks after work and scheme on what to do tomorrow.
This is Elsie's, Lavis and Szczerbowski's local hangout. It has served Hollywood stars before, but this win hits close to home.
They've been coming here for years, so everyone knew them. It was really cool. So when they won, everyone just got up and cheered and had a drink to those guys.
Pat, the bartender, says he's ready to pour a pint or two for them. Can they expect a free round of beer?
I think we could probably work something out, you know. We spent $100,000 here over 30 years. Yeah, I think we could probably send a few beers their way.
The filmmakers were nominated once before, but this is their first Oscar win for what they say is a puppet film 5 years in the making. Geneviève Beauchemin, CTV News, Montreal.
I'm sort of embarrassed to say I don't think I've seen a single film that was nominated last night.
I'm surprised I've seen I saw 3.
That's pretty good. Yeah, more than last year, right?
Better than many years. Freezing rain off to the north and northeast. Could see some pretty significant ice accumulation by tomorrow morning from Slave Lake southeast through Athabasca and down towards Lloydminster. Look west of Edmonton. You've got some heavy rain coming down from Seba Beach all the way south towards Drayton Valley. And so we'll get some of that rain this evening here in the city. Tomorrow, partly cloudy and warm. up to a high of 12. A lot of snow melting going on with the combination of rain and warm temperatures over the course of the next couple of days. And then spring starts officially on Friday.
Looking forward to it. Thank you, Josh, and thank you very much for sharing your time with us. For news anytime, check out our website, ctvnewsedmonton.ca. Have a great evening.